Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of OA News Overtime. I'm Jordan Hill with Justin Lee, as always.
Jordan, the verified edition.
The verified. Can you
verified,
believe that?
Baby. Look at us go.
That I gotta say before we get into the stuff that is not as important. We gotta talk about Twitter. That's more I had no faith that I was gonna be verified, and so much so that it said in the instructions like post an article in like the last 6 months, and then the first thing I posted was the Iron Bowl story, which was farther than 6 months ago.
Yeah. So did you do the 3 stories?
Yes.
So I did it the lazy way, and I was just like, it was like you can post 3 clippings or a link to your website, and I was like, we'll just do the website. And then after I did that, I was kind of regretting it. I was like, ooh, I bet watch Jordan get it and not me.
I did not think it was gonna happen.
But hey, man, now we're verified. We're on there. That means our opinions are correct.
So what's the first verified hot take you're throwing out there?
Oh, I retweeted the Mama G's thing.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good.
I was like, I could brag about, like 5 years ago, I'd have been so excited about being verified. Now I'm like, oh, this is a good excuse to stir up this pot again.
I think what I'm going to do is cook it and then go, the BCS should come back. They don't need to expand it. They need to make it smaller. Like, just do something that's like, whoa. And then they take my verification away. But,
we're flirting with it right now.
Yeah, flirting with disaster, folks. What's new? But yeah, a lot to talk about on this week's podcast. Let's just jump right into it. This is, as we've talked about in past podcasts, a very important time of year for Auburn football as far as recruiting. They got people coming in, and I thought there was a really good conversation I had on the Chuck Oliver radio show today, just sort of talking about.
Jordan, you've been going on different shows.
You just got to keep it going, man. And I'm promoting this podcast.
Oh, okay.
What do you think I'm doing?
All right, all right.
It's like when someone goes on Fallon to promote that TV show that's going to get canceled in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, what are they plugging?
I got to plug it.
Yeah. Right.
But he talked about, as a reason for concern for Auburn, should Auburn fans be worried? And I said no, and I thought there were some really good reasons why. So Auburn's got 3 commits right now. They got 2 local guys, and then they got the quarterback from Savannah. 3 talented guys, but haven't picked up anything since then.
How much quantity?
Exactly. But the thing that really I think people need to focus on is the fact that right now is the start of kids being able to go back on campus, for the first time in 13 months.
Sure.
And the idea, and I've heard this, talked about on other podcasts, I think it was Split Zone Duo, shout out those guys,
right.
Sort of talked about the end of the dead period. The fact that these kids have waited this long to commit, why would you not just wait, maybe another 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month?
Sure.
Go visit 4 or 5 schools you're interested in, and then decide. I mean, when you look at it from the fact that they've had to wait and they haven't had, in-person, face-to-face contact with any of these coaches until now, I understand why we're not seeing that many commits, not only to Auburn, but if you look compared to past years, you kind of throw 2020 out, there's really not been that many kids commit across the board because it's just been so different. It's been so wonky. And there's not
super senior stuff might have to do with it?
Probably, too. I mean, that has to factor in because these coaches have to figure out, well, who's actually going to be here and what spots are going to be needed.
Right.
And then you look specifically at Auburn with a new head coach. I mean, he's just kind of getting his bearings with the rest of his staff as far as, local areas and making those connections with coaches. So I don't think there's really reason for concern, the fact that they're still holding at those 3 commits. I'm sure that they will add more to it.
Holding.
I know. As soon as I said that, I really sincerely did not mean that. But it worked out. Maybe I should have just took credit for it. But I think they'll add to it, and I think that there's really no reason for concern yet because this is such an abnormal recruiting period. Obviously, what they do right now is going to be crucial, but I don't think it comes down to you don't have any more commits and everybody should panic.
If I had never visited any SEC school in the last year, I'd probably want to see them all.
Yeah.
It's only halfway through June.
Yeah.
So, that makes a lot of sense to me. And then maybe there's some kids who are kind of waiting on the portal to settle down. Because you look at, like, when Auburn added T.J. Finley, that's like adding a freshman if they want to play it that way.
Yeah.
Because he's a freshman with a COVID year.
Yep.
So, like, that's just a whole younger, anyway. So that's a whole other deal to it. That's a whole other, part of the timeline. But, yeah, I think a lot of it is just, like, I don't blame them. Like, we need to see some more stuff because we haven't been able to look at anything for a year.
Yeah.
Now there's only been 3 weekends into June. Like,
exactly.
Take some time.
And these kids have been keeping it busy. I know at least from the local guys. I mean, they've been, I know Jarrell Stinson, who is an Auburn commit that we were talking about
Right.
from Opelika. He was at Auburn one day, then I think like maybe a day or two later he was at Florida, and he's going to UCF.
Going to
These kids
UCF,
are
yeah.
trying to make the most of this time to go
Sure.
check out places. And to a point we made, I think that might have been last week, the thing that Brian Harsin and Bruce Pearl both stressed was getting kids on campus because that's a big part of the allure of Auburn.
For sure, yeah.
So I mean that I think that's a big piece of that too, as far as getting more commits. Some of these guys that may be interested, maybe they haven't had a chance to step on campus yet.
So you're looking at it's just the local kids and Holden right now,
Yep,
right? Jarrell,
exactly.
Powell, and then Holden. Wow. Well, but I think you're right though. No need to panic. No need to do anything like that.
No, I think in due time you'll see them add more commitments, and then you'll see sort of the ball rolling, going toward that 2022 class. Because like we've talked about, it's going to be a crucial class. But at the same time, I don't think you panic in June because there's a lot of work. It's going to be done, and a lot more that can change between now and signing day.
Just be holding tight.
Holding tight.
If you're an Auburn fan,
it's a good strategy. We're gonna go
Maybe
print
that'll
up
be
some
our headline.
T-shirts. Yeah.
holding tight.
We love it, folks. We love the jokes. Again, like I told people on Twitter when I got verified, the jokes aren't going away. So just get over it. It's not going away.
Nothing will change except again, we're objectively right because we have blue check marks.
Obviously,
That's just how it works.
that's obvious.
But other than that, it'll be the same.
It's the same story, different day. Well, big change coming to college football, not this season, but it seems like it'll be in 2022. Expansion of the playoffs. We're going
For sure.
from 4 teams to 12 teams, which
Supposedly, yeah.
Justin, I got to say, I was kind of surprised it jumped like it did. But some of the details.
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
That's a lot of teams.
Top 4 teams will get buys to start the playoff. The other 8 teams will play each other, with teams hosting that first round game. The lower seed will be at home compared to the 2. Then you'll go into the traditional bowl games for the other games, and then have the national championship.
Sure.
Justin, what were your thoughts on the news coming out? Again, I was kind of surprised that it jumped to 12. I think we were kind of expecting maybe 6 with a play-in or whatever, or possibly 8. But getting a lot more teams involved, and obviously that opens the door for more teams, and maybe a team like Auburn in one of these upcoming years to be able to sneak in as well.
Those home site games are going to be nuts.
The fact that the top 4 teams, I think that's the biggest mistake, is that
they don't get a home game.
They don't get a home game. I think that's a huge mistake.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. That's the one thing I think, if I could put my finger on what I don't like.
Sure. Dude, can you imagine, Coastal Carolina at Notre Dame in, a 5-12? It'd be fun. It's not going to have any bearing on the national champion because the national champion is going to be Alabama, Oklahoma, or Clemson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's my thing is, the saving grace is that, for me, is that the 14 playoff has not been good.
No.
And now it's ending.
Yes.
Rip. I don't care. Bye. That's the saving grace to me is I think just go back to 2 or 3. I kind of like the idea of 3. Somebody who's stellar gets one, and then you have a little play in. But
yeah.
Whatever, fine. No group. I've put on Twitter no group, and now that's a verified tweet now.
I mean, can't fact check it. That's how verified tweets work.
No group of 5 teams ever going to win the national championship. You don't have resources. Maybe if it's 11 on 11. The games are too long. The better team usually wins, or if unless it's really close.
Yeah.
The talent level. So when there's a gap, there's just too much of a gap. And
when you look too with the playoff, obviously you can get breaks and whatnot, but as good as some teams can be, if you just have one game where you can pull an upset, then maybe you have a chance. If you're going into a playoff,
no one's going to make that run.
That's what I'm saying. No. I don't think. I think you're making a good point there.
Yeah. So, but whatever. It'll be fun. I guess. I'm sure there are people who are more educated about the FCS playoff who like it. So, whatever.
2 of the things that I'm really kind of drawn to. One is this allows for, not so much of the regional thing we've seen in the 14 playoff, which
Sure.
we're talking about. It's Clemson, it's Alabama, it may be a Georgia or Ohio State or Oklahoma as those other teams, but you kind of could pencil in about 6 or 7 teams that could get those 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Pac-12 hasn't been relevant in several years, and I think that really hurts the brand of college football as a nationwide sport. I mean,
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
if you're a fan,
Yeah, it closes it up.
yeah, say you're a fan in, Oregon, and Oregon has kind of been on the cusp and still been really good, but
Sure.
like if you know that your team or any of those teams that you kind of keep up with aren't going to the playoff, I mean, I don't think as soon as my team lost, I probably wouldn't keep up with college football that
Gosh,
much.
is that Washington team the only Pac-12 team that's been?
So
Maybe?
Oregon went
Did they?
because
wrong.
they beat Florida State, if I'm remembering right. Remember when Jameis had the fumble backwards?
I'm the wrong person to ask.
I believe Ohio State beat Oregon in the national championship.
Oh.
I believe that's right because to get there,
They beat
Oregon
Jameis?
beat Florida State and beat them down.
2015, so 2014 season. Yeah, 42-20.
It was bad.
Yikes.
Yep. You
All
had,
right. What
and
about
that was the height of Vine because you had Jameis Winston.
Oh no, Oregon beat Florida State 59-20.
Okay.
And then Ohio State beat Oregon 42-20. How bad would that Ohio State Florida State score been?
Yeah, that'd been rough.
Yeah.
But that was a height of Vine because you had people making edits of Jameis like slipping on a banana peel on the
Right.
ball going backwards. So
Right.
kind of dating ourselves there. Kids, if you remember what Vine. Oh, no,
So
no.
Alabama and Ohio State, again, the semifinal, that was the national championship game.
Yeah.
And they should have just had two. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, so here's the thing. So everybody sit tight.
Soapbox time.
As much as whatever our opinion is, this is objectively great for Auburn University.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, do you agree with that?
100%.
Right. So Justin wrote about it, Justin Ferguson, and he's right. Is that this is Auburn is a team that the timing of it is all spectacular because first of all you're in the state with Alabama. Like, let's get over it. You're probably going to be the second best team in your state for a while. Most years.
Compared to the
yeah.
norm.
So the bigger it gets, the more spots there are, the better it is for you because you can try to be better than all 49 other states.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But like and I put it on Twitter again. This is just a Twitter episode.
Yeah. What isn't though? Let's be honest. What is not a Twitter episode? This podcast, my mental breakdowns, they're all Twitter episodes.
Because I've put it on. I've said it many times before. When people are like, "Well, where does Auburn rank as far as programs in college football?" And I say they're top tier, like maybe not S tier, but A tier.
Yeah.
Because and my explanation is, when I was growing up, every 10 years, Auburn had a chance to win the national championship. It had a puncher's chance to win the national championship. In 1983, it could have won the national championship. 1993, it could have won the national championship if circumstances were different and weren't on probation. 2004, could have played UFC, maybe could have won on a good day. Maybe, probably not, but maybe.
Yeah.
A puncher's chance.
Exactly.
Once every 10 years, and not many programs can say that.
No.
Like who? Florida State. I mean, besides the S tier, okay, Ohio State, Alabama, those guys, and then Florida State, not many. There's not many you could pick out. Oregon, I guess now.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'd say that's fair.
Sure, but the A tier, not very big. Georgia. So anyway, those kind of programs.
Yep.
So, but now it's you're those kind of A tier programs can get more chances, and like we said, it's becoming more. Now you've got 2010, 2013, and 2017 as seasons I would count as had a puncher's chance to win the national championship.
Yeah.
So, and I think the timing is right. I think it might benefit Auburn better than any school.
They've got an argument. They really do.
Besides those group of 5 schools who are going to get those payouts.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with millions of dollars that you weren't getting that you're getting now. Mm-hmm. But as far as Power 5 teams, Auburn might be, the team that benefits the most. Just because they're in the shadow. Look, I know you hate hearing it, but just because you're in the shadow of Alabama, it's like, they're going to hold one spot, so with more spots, the better for you.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is the truth, and this obviously opens up, another road for Auburn to make the playoff. I think you're right, because you look at when the SEC has gotten 2 teams in the 4-team playoff, it's been a team from the West and a team from the East. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and more times than not, like we've said, it's going to be Alabama.
Division.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another guy that this benefits kind of jumping off of the group of 5 thought is Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, it does.
Because I can already in my head see the graphic when UCF makes the playoff, it's like Gus Malzahn. And again, this would be to his credit because it would be true. He's like, hey, we made the playoff. We
Right.
made it through the playoffs. So I mean, this opens a door for him. And I think we've talked about this before, Justin, and you can kind of piggyback off this, or if you disagree. But I think he's really walking into a good situation that he's inheriting at UCF.
Oh, I think so.
And now when you got 12 teams that can make the playoff, and really, we knew the group of five never had a chance. I mean, when you saw the domination that UCF and some of those teams had, and still weren't even, right on the outside of making the playoff. But now they're gonna be included, and they'll get a chance to at least show out and show what they can do against some really good teams.
Remember when Cincinnati played Florida?
Yes. Yeah, and that was when Brian Kelly had left too, so it was didn't. And I think that might have been one of Tebow's last games before he graduated, because it was, I think it was pretty rough. So.
How much money does an NCAA team make from the CFP? 2019-2020, college football playoff distributed over $475 million in bowl revenue. Certain conferences in the FBS received $2.7 million in aggregate. Well, I'll have to look at this later, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna get more money if you make it in. So here we go. So whatever year this was, Alabama and Ohio State also earned $6 million for their respective conferences. So then you probably split that 12 ways.
Exactly.
But you get that. I mean, that's that's a $500,000 more for an American athletic conference team.
Yeah,
that's
and
a big deal.
You could think too, coming off of COVID, I mean, that may help some of these schools keep other athletic programs.
For sure.
Think about some of the teams that have been on the verge of cutting
sure.
teams. So I think it's a big win. I think the biggest question I have going forward is, do we see the regular season shrink at all?
Sure.
Because it's been 12 games. Did they decide to cut it to 11?
Sure.
Maybe get rid of that cupcake game and try to add another marquee game, because you're still vying for one of the 12 spots in the playoff. I think it's too early to see, too soon to tell.
Right.
But that's something I'd probably keep an eye on going forward.
Hey man, I like the cupcake game. I like it. I like scheduling smaller programs, giving them a little chance to make some money.
No doubt.
Maybe more. Maybe that trickles down there, because maybe teams can play a couple more cupcakes and still make the playoff.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to everything. Jordan, there's pros and cons to everything in life.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
You don't get this kind of information from an unverified Twitter user.
That's what I tell people, especially young people.
Please make this episode the verified edition.
If you're
moving, can that please be the name of this episode, the verified edition?
The verified podcast. If you're moving to a new city and you're scared or whatever, it's like, well, there's going to be some things that you don't like. Like, it's not going to be as good in some ways, but in other ways, it's going to be better. There's pros and cons. There's always pros and cons.
Tell me about moving to Odessa, Justin.
So,
paint me a picture.
Hey, man, there was some great things. Amazing Mexican food, beautiful sunsets. That's about it. But those things
they were really good.
Were really good. And the rest of it was a desert. Dry heat, man. Like, it's tough during the day, but, like, what I tell people is at night you go outside and, like, it's like you're at the beach, because it's just breezy and light. It's like a beach breeze. Whereas you go walk outside out here and it's, like, muggy, swamp, mosquito, death. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. Dry heat, like, it's hot, but, nah, it ain't humidity.
It ain't got nothing on Alabama.
It ain't this.
Right
No.
So, any other thoughts on the playoff before we move this baby along?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
Those are verified thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's pretty nice little rundown there, Justin. Kind of getting ready to close out this episode. We've got several local athletes and also Auburn University athletes that are in competition and stepping on some big stages. You got Andrew Kozan getting ready for the U.S. Open that's going to be coming this weekend.
Wow.
We'll keep our eyes on that. But what are your thoughts on what he's going to be facing? Like we said last week, this is a quick turnaround, and
yeah, man,
going to be playing with the nation's best, trying to show what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, what'd you say? It's like, why have you not left yet? Like,
yeah,
he was in Florida. Won on a Sunday or a Saturday?
Monday.
On a Monday. And it's like, bro, practice round's going to start out there. So,
yeah.
He had to get and where is it? Is it in?
It's in San Diego.
So he had to go across the country because he's in Florida.
Yep.
Wow. So he's out there. We'll see. We'll see if Bryson and Koepka get in a fight. That'd be cool if they did.
It's not. It's definitely can't say it's unprecedented after some of the qualifying rounds going on.
The price is wrong, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there for it. We'll be watching to keep up with Andrew, but I'm also going to keep an eye, some of this.
Maybe Andrew will be in the background when the video goes on World Star.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be the one that makes a TikTok that goes viral.
World Star. Kids, if you don't know about World Star, don't worry about
Don't
it.
look into it. So going from golf and now turning the attention to track and field.
Yep.
Uh,
U.S. trials.
Yeah, coming up, starting on Friday up in Eugene, Oregon. There's several local athletes who have gone on to other schools who are still in the mix. Two I've had a chance to talk to this week, Kylie Carter and Ashley Carter, no relation, as funny as that is. Both at Auburn University, both javelin throwers. They're going to the Olympic trials. They got a chance to punch a ticket and make, a big dream come true. I mean, you think about
Oh my gosh.
all the hours they put into the sport and, the things they've overcome. I talked to both of them, too, about, coming back after 2021, because for Kylie, that was would have been her senior year, and she decided, I'm going to come back another year.
Wow.
Ashley has really leaned on her to kind of learn more about what it takes and really perfecting her, her form and the way she competes, and also her older brother Justin was an Auburn athlete as well, and also threw javelin. So that's kind of how she got started. So got an Auburn High grad there and a Beauregard grad there, and they're trying to do something big. So it's been really cool to talk to them and kind of share their stories. And they've been in the paper this week, and we'll be keeping up with them and seeing if they're able to go to Tokyo. I mean, how crazy would that be?
Bro, we love the local names in the OA news. And then also there's Suni Lee, no relation again. Crazy how that works out. So she's got U.S. trials coming up in I think about a week. So, I think most people, friends of the podcast know, but I think most Auburn people kind of don't understand the gravity of, no, this girl's going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
For the U.S. team, on NBC. It's Simone and her. Anyway. So, that's going to be fun, but yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I think the steam will pick up once she officially punches her ticket. I think people are gonna be pretty excited about it because I don't think they understand oh no, it's the Fab Five. She's doing the real thing. So anyway, she's got to go to the U.S. trials, and if she gets top 2, which she got top 2 in the U.S. championship, she got right behind Simone. That's her goal. If she can do that again, she gets an automatic spot. The top 2 finishers at U.S. trials get a spot on the team no matter what, and then the rest is filled out by a committee. Her resume is probably pretty good for the committee, but she's got, that's not in her mindset. The goal is to just get one of those automatic spots and not leave it up to chance. So that'll be coming up too, man.
We're gonna be busy, but that's what we're here for.
What is an off season?
There is no off season. The off season is the season.
This is the season.
Don't break it down. Just run with it. That sounds good. To kind of wrap things up, we kind of talked about some of the things we were looking to do this summer. I've got an update. Justin's got an update. I'll start with mine. Got 2 tickets to the NASCAR race in July.
Hey, brother, let's
in
go.
Atlanta, baby.
In Atlanta, dude.
Yeah, Atlanta Motor Speedway. So I think that's July 11th, July 12th. So,
dude, I would love to go.
Dude, I'm telling you, come on. You can ride.
I got a desk that day.
Oh, the race will be over in plenty of time. You just bring your laptop. I'm sure they'd be fine with that. I'm going to get Justin to a race before it's all said and done.
Oh, we'll go. We'll roll.
But excited for that, and that's going to be fun. And Justin, give us your update.
Oh yeah. So last week we talked about I got to go to a wedding in August. We got the Airbnb booked up. Me and my 2 roommates, Eric and Jake, and Royal's the other. We had 4 of us. Royal's the other one. He's getting married. But the other 2 of us were like, we get a hotel, and we're just gonna get Airbnb. We're just gonna roommate it up one more time. Like the old days.
They're having that Friends reunion, so I guess you're kind of following off
man.
that. Yeah.
So I went to Men's Warehouse to get measured or whatever, and the guy was bothering me. He was like, "Sir, there's no shoes on your order. There's no shoes. It's gonna cost you $30. You gotta let us know. We gotta know in time. We gotta know within 2 weeks. You need to call the groom. You really need to call the groom to get those shoes. There's no shoes on the order. I got the suit. I got everything else." And then I call Royal, and Royal's like, "Nah, bro. All the groomsmen are gonna wear Converse."
That works.
So we're all gonna wear Converse. That's it. There we go. That's it. We'll see what I don't know. I gotta see what color I'm supposed to wear or whatever. But yeah, that's the plan. And he's like, you get $30 to rent it from Men's Warehouse, or get a $40 Converse to keep. So
I mean that kind of adds up. That was the last wedding I was in. We actually bought the suit, and I swear it was just as cheap as renting it. So, I mean, anything you can get and can keep, do it.
That's pretty fair. Yeah. Well, it took me this long enough to go to one wedding, so I might as well, if I had more to go to, maybe I'd buy one. But
True.
we'll see. It might be another 20, 30 years until I get
Who knows? But I know that once
have you been in any one of those groomsmen like pictures where you do something goofy or something
they
like the
always
Converse?
no, nothing like with the shoes, but they always the worst thing I'm at is like when the photographer's like, act like you're laughing or do something funny like spontaneous. I'm like, no, capture like
That's not what I'm
like
doing.
I'm a journalist. I'm not gonna fake it. Like it's gonna be
We can't do
genuine.
that.
If you wanna just
Yeah.
follow me around, I'll give you a good photo, but I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna. Like I know there's one of
Catch me later.
my brother-in-law when they were getting married last October. They asked me to do something. And I think I just like stared at him. It was like I looked like I was like, I was just like totally disappointed in him or something. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm not a clown. You
Yeah.
can't just like put a quarter in me and I'm gonna.
That's up to
do
you,
something
man.
funny.
I mean, we know photojournalists. You gotta get authentic reactions.
You gotta just follow us around.
It's on
So
you.
We're gonna have a good time. All you
Good
gotta
grief.
do is click the camera and it's
Good
gonna
grief.
happen.
Well, I'm gonna have a good time in Texas.
Well, once for too long, Justin's gonna be cutting a rug over there, and I guess that's gonna be August. But until then, we're gonna be here locking it down and filling you in. And I'll throw out there that this weekend we're gonna have our all-area baseball and softball teams.
Hey, man.
So there's gonna be stories
Don't miss them.
all over the place, Saturday and Sunday.
Wherever
so.
you buy your words, stroll through the Dollar General, Circle K, wherever you gotta go. Get you
Double
a copy.
Eagle, just go over there and
Get you a copy.
get them because we're gonna
Saturday
have 'em
and Sunday.
full of photos and full of good stuff. I'm excited for it to roll out and exhale because that means there's no more all area teams till we get to football season.
Can we put how we have our byline in the paper? We should put a little check mark next to it.
Oh God,
That's us.
I mean,
A blue check mark by Justin.
we're
Lee.
gonna look into that. We're gonna get out of here and go ask circulation and see if they're gonna approve that. Maybe get the design center on it.
Yeah,
but while we go do that, we're gonna finish the podcast. As always, for Justin, I'm Jordan. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.